Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Early Edge. I'm smiling because we have a great show lined up for you today. Of course, we are brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Let's take a look at how we did yesterday. Recap screen. It's another winning day. Not a crazy winning day. We go 4-3, 2-0 for me on the Pats play. And of course, my 18-hole matchup comes in. Proppy and Larry don't hit theirs, but Tom Casale hits his, and we split the SportsLine picks, a couple of hockey plays. The one that didn't hit, of course, was a plus 140. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get right to it because the truth is we might have more picks on this Friday show. Now, granted, we have picks from earlier in the week that may or may not be on the recap screen here, courtesy of Ben, but we have more picks just coming today than maybe we've ever had on this show. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome to BPE Friday. Let's go. We got Mikey B. We got Brinson. He gets it. We got Buckets, I think, who looks like he's asleep. And we have Chip Patterson. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't had your coffee, if you hadn't had your triple espresso, good news. We've got your Chip Me Up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Brinson. Good morning, Mikey. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Early Edge fam. And I want your attention right now. I want your focus. I want your body focus. I want your mind focus. I want your soul focus because this is it right here. We are down to the last few weeks of the college football season. And I want to tell you, ain't no one going to remember your cute little hot streak in September. No, November is what we remember. We've got jobs on the line, hot seats. We got playoff spots on the line. We got bowl bids on the line. And if you're not locked in, then you're going to miss out. And we're all going to remember you stinking it up the whole close of the season. This is your final chapter. Lock in. Let's go.
That was amazing. Buckets, you don't look locked in at all. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty sad this morning, if I can be honest with you. A guy on Twitter yesterday tweeted at me saying Buckets has never won a bet in his entire life.
Get
and I responded,
Buckets, you let that roll off. No,
well,
sir.
Chip, I responded. I said, I've hit my last 5 straight on the early edge. And he said, well, those don't count.
Also dweeb behavior to point to your wins, but go ahead.
But he said those don't count. And so I don't really know what I'm doing anymore. So I'm just, I'm in a funk, and I don't know how I'm going to get out of it today.
I'm sorry. We didn't tell you. We didn't disclose this to you, Buckets. Your early edge wins don't count. I'm so sorry about that. Whoever that was, probably like John Doe, 1614 without a picture, no avatar. That person was definitely correct. I'm sorry. Will Brinson, can I transition to you real quick? Because you've been on the morning show maybe a smattering of times, but you've certainly never been on BPE Friday. How's the vibe feeling for you?
I mean, look, I wore Carolina blue just for Chip Patterson, and I bet that the rest of the guys who wear Carolina, so did you, Sia. So I bet the rest of the guys who wear Carolina blue, the ones who step on the field every Saturday, wish that their coach had the same energy that Chip Patterson has every day before they go out on the game. They might be a little more hyped up, but yeah, I'm pumped, man. This is I'm declaring this week. I don't know how this came about. I'm declaring this week Alpha Wide Receiver Week. Or National Alpha Wide Receiver Week, which is basically like I think our acronym we're going with is NAR. So
that's
NAR.
It's
or
super
NAR.
That is super catchy. Part of the reason we have more picks today than maybe we've ever had on a BPE Friday is because, ladies and gentlemen, Will Brinson brought 5 NFL picks, 3 plays against the spread, 2 props. I have a prop, which implicates one of those big-time receivers, and I've got a PGA play. And Mikey B, speaking of people who keep hitting on the early edge and over at SportsLine, I couldn't help but notice he got rid of the glasses, which I'm sure with the fog machine, it's all good luck. You came with more NBA, right?
I did, and I brought these for 2 reasons. One, Danny Brasco is not here. 2, Buckets said on the show earlier this week that he was going to fight somebody, and Danny's not here. But now I have determined I need to use these to defend Buckets from these people on these social media. Leave Buckets alone. The guy's trying to cap 6 sports. He's trying to put us all out of jobs. Leave him alone.
I love that he said, like, this guy's like, the picks you give out for the company that pays you to give out picks don't count. What counts are the free picks you're giving out on the app formerly known as the Bird. Like, I mean, that's what counts. I mean, get a grip.
Well, speaking of picks, We do have to get to picks because we have a lot to get through. And speaking of energy, Boogie4114, don't think I've seen you in here. Hit the like button if you could, and welcome to the show. Katie Taylor, Thomas Mickles, Joe Neuenfeld, Jeff Stenberg, some of the regular crew, some new names. Raymond Sloan is a new name. Aaron Bailey, Jay Long, Eric David, Luffy Mingo, everybody, Jeffrey Chavez. Thanks for being in here. Hit the like button, review this podcast in buckets. We need picks. We're already 5 minutes through the show. There's people that are frustrated. They're like, get to the picks. Enough small talk. Start us off.
So this first one's tough. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow, but there's a reason I'm taking it. We've got the World Cup qualifiers taking place this afternoon, and there's all these big teams playing. You've got Croatia, you've got Germany, you've got Spain, all these massive, massive nations, but you've also got Gibraltar hosting Montenegro. And I actually have a look. Will, I know you're not going to like this, but bear with me. A play that I really like here. Both teams have scored. The Buckets Classic, the one I take every single show, is plus 145. That's a nice number for both teams to score, and there's a reason we're getting that nice number. Gibraltar is... I don't want to be rude. They're not great. We'll keep it that way. We'll keep it nice and PG on the show. They have been outscored 2-20 in their 6 World Cup qualifying games, but this is their last game at home in this competition to give their fans a show, and one of the only teams they've scored on in the entire qualifiers was Montenegro on the road. They know how to score against this team. They don't know how to score against a lot of teams, but this team, dominated by the Red Lincoln Imps players, is good enough at home in a game that doesn't matter for either side to get a goal. So I love a sprinkle here of both teams to score at plus 145, even though there's nothing but country pride on the line here. I'm not a big plus odds guy myself, but this is definitely worth a play. For our second play, we go to a game with a lot on the line. We've got Poland hosting Netherlands. This is the 1 and 2 seed in Group G. If Netherlands win this game, they punch their ticket forward to the World Cup. They have officially qualified. Netherlands will be going all out on attack on this one, while Poland is going to try to keep this slow. They're going to play cagey because taking a point off of Netherlands is a very big deal. But when you're Poland, you still got Robert Lewandowski, which means you have to attack at some point in this game. Outside of Norway, Netherlands have the most goals scored in the entire competition, outscoring teams like Germany, like Spain, like England. Netherlands has been playing very, very forward-facing football. They've been playing an aggressively high line, and they've got some of the quickest counterattack in all of Europe right now. Netherlands, 1.5 team total at minus 130. They need to break this deadlock, and I think they're going to break it in the first half if you want to take Netherlands' first half goal. But I love the team total here, Sia, even with the juice.
All right, we got a couple of soccer picks. You referenced Will Brinson there. Will, do you cover soccer in any way, shape, or form?
I mean, I watch a lot of soccer.
All right.
Yeah, I have no soccer pick. I have no soccer bets for the World qualifying. The face I made, Buckets, wasn't about the plus odds Gibraltar pick. It was about me. I was like, is Croatia a big country? And then I was like Googling Croatia, like, while Buckets is giving that. Croatia, sneaky, like the Andrew Luck, like sneaky athletic. It's a sneaky big country.
Croatia and an Andrew Luck comp is what you come to the early edge for. Absolutely love to see it. All right. Speaking of plus plays, that's my first speaking of the show. Over under is 3.5. I've got a really big plus money PGA play that I'll get to in just a little bit. Actually, Chip, before you give out your picks,
yes,
I've got 2 plays. Let me give out my PGA play first because this one actually starts in 30 minutes, and I'll give out my NFL prop later on in the show. Okay, this one is some serious plus money. And you know, I'm on a bit of a win streak when it comes to these golf picks. However, this one might interrupt the streak because it's plus 190, plus 170 in some places. But major books, you're going to get this 3-ball with Paul Peterson in the plus 170 to plus 190 range. I like it either way. So Paul Peterson is a guy that I had as a long shot pick for this tournament. You've probably never heard of Paul Peterson, and that's okay. He's a short hitter that can get hot with the putter. I know a lot about Paul Peterson because when I hit William Mount, the ISCO, about 2-3 months ago, he had to track down Paul Peterson, who really kind of held his own in that 4th round, putting the lights out, frankly. And again, a guy on short courses that can really do pretty well because he's a shorter hitter. The approach play is also pretty good with Paul Peterson, especially when you compare it to Joseph Bramlett and Austin Cook. Now, Bramlett is the favorite in this one, and he's rightfully the favorite because, well, the ball striking is pretty good with Joseph Bramlett. It's the putter that usually fails him. Austin Cook's just been kind of a mixed bag, been pretty bad. I think if we're looking at Paul Peterson in this 3-ball, we're looking at him mostly against Joseph Bramlett. I don't expect Austin Cook to be the caliber of these other two. And when it comes down to it, on a short course with a guy who is a much better putter, I'm willing to take this at plus 170 or plus 190 because it's just good value. I don't know what this number should be, but I don't think it should be this long. I think it should probably be in the plus 150, plus 155 range. Give me the value on Paul Peterson plus 190 over Joseph Bramlett. Again, good ball striker, terrible putter, and Austin Cook. All right, that's a golf play, and we're gonna get to some NFL and some college football.
So good. Like, I mean, so many people come around here and like they trickle in March and April and May and they think they know golf, but they don't have the ability to say, when I hit William Mao at the ISCO, I know because he tracked down Paul Peterson. Like, are you kidding me? Sia was built for this. You are not built the same.
Yeah,
I was going to say Paul Peterson. I'm a big golf guy too, but like, I was trying to figure out where he had like ruined my day at one point, and I was looking at, was it the Puerto Rico Open when Carl Phillips won? That wasn't it. It was when he screwed up the first round leaderboard at the 2025 Sony Open. Fired a 64. So like the guy short courses this time of year can go low.
I'm so glad you brought that up, the Puerto Rico Open, because at the Puerto Rico Open, I hit Carl Phillips
same.
at 70-1.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's 270-1.
I have a koala tattooed on my shoulder because of that win. Like, that's like one of my favorite golf wins ever.
Oh, you had Carl Phillips as well?
Oh, yeah. I was at my parents' house watching that and screaming, Phillips, Carl, and koala. And my dad was like, what the F is going on out on our porch, son?
Watching golf and betting golf and then watching it is so amazing. I cannot stress this enough. But we got to transition. Buckets, why are you laughing, A? And have you ever bet golf before?
I have only tailed your plays in golf. That is the only betting I've ever done. It is the only betting I ever will do.
Have you ever watched the play, then play out?
Absolutely not. I just check my sports book at the end of the day and I go, see ya, or I go, see ya. Just depending how it goes. The thing I wanted to bring up is that, Paul L in the chat, this is a little soccer reference for you here, Sia. He said, Trevor Lawrence would be Switzerland. I know you're a big Trevor Lawrence fan. I just want to see if you agree with that comparison with how Switzerland's playing right now.
Trevor Lawrence would aspire to be Switzerland. Trevor Lawrence is whatever. I don't know. See, the problem is I don't know where Switzerland stands.
But
we know where I stand.
The Swiss are like, I mean, naturally the most neutral of all. So like, I don't think Trevor Lawrence should be Switzerland because like people are either like still in on Trevor Lawrence, like me, stupidly maybe, or like way out on Trevor Lawrence. So I would say that like it's more of like a divisive country than like the Swiss.
Chip, I hope you're coming around to the right answer on Trevor Lawrence. We had this discussion about a month ago, and clearly I was right, and all the Trevor Lawrence truthers were wrong. But that leads us to three things you're about to be right about, Chip Patterson. You've got a pick for tonight in college football and a couple picks for tomorrow. You've got the floor.
Yeah, all right, so we're going to start with Louisville, Clemson, and I don't know if y'all been hearing Jeff Brom's press conferences, but he does not have a lot of confidence in his quarterback situation. No, Miller Moss has stunk recently, and obviously it was a huge part of Louisville losing as a 20-point favorite at home to Cal, which had to come all the way across the country. Not good, Bob. So what I'm going to do is, even though Jeff Brom's talking about a contingency plan, which of course I hate for the idea that Miller Moss can bounce back, hearing that there's already a backup plan for when he stinks. Now, I am also not ready to wholly trust Clemson in this spot because it is a backs against the wall kind of game for the Cards. We do call him Big Game Brom for a reason. And I think that we have to go back to last year to when Louisville went into Death Valley and stole the souls of the Clemson Tigers fan base, had them hitting the exits before the start of the fourth quarter. So not going to get on Clemson, but I still need a Louisville fade. And hello, we got a nice number here. We're going Louisville team total under 26.5. So I don't really have to worry too much about whether or not this Clemson offense gets rolling or not against a Louisville defense that honestly has had to carry the team for a lot of this season. This instead is an opportunity for me to continue to fade an incredibly inconsistent offense, which, by the way, will again be without its leading rusher and most talented offensive skill player that would be running back Isaac Brown. On to Saturday, make your pot of coffee or just fly out to the West Coast, because my two picks for this show are, it's the early edge, but we're going to be talking about like the late edge with two primetime late night slate picks. We start, BYU is hosting TCU, and similarly, I do not like the vibes that I am getting from the Frogs. So both these teams, both TCU and BYU, lost last week. TCU really duffed it. But we're talking like red zone turnovers. We're talking just shooting yourself in the foot, aiming for each individual toe. Bang, 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 bang. And they end up losing to Iowa State. Now, do you think that the time to circle the wagons and rally and get back on the winning side is going to be playing in Provo, Utah at night? Pour me another glass of chocolate milk. We're going with BYU minus the short number. Then on to Snapdragon Stadium, San Diego State Aztecs, a humbling loss out on the Big Island, 32-point loss to Hawaii. They've got to come back. I'm a little bit wary here, but I think I have found a market inefficiency because the last time that Boise State was out in action, they lost to Fresno State. Lost pretty handily. Weird. What happened? Oh, your starting quarterback, Maddox Madsen, went down with an injury, and your offense was putrid from then on. So I just don't think that as we still have San Diego State, which has been a good team for much of the year and 4-0 against the spread at Snapdragon Stadium, I don't think that we have fully adjusted to how Boise State's offense without Maddox Madsen has been rated. So I think getting San Diego State at 2.5, getting San Diego State at 3, any of those are green light go. You can, of course, watch this one on CBS Sports Network late night, while you're also watching the Cover 3 podcast Instant Reaction, which starts at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/cover3.
So while we're watching that game, we can have maybe like, what does that game start at 10 or 10:30? Do you know San Diego State?
Second one is, so the San Diego State is 10:30. The BYU is 10:15.
So as the second quarter is closing out in the San Diego State game, we can put that on mute and watch you on the Cover 3 podcast, right, Chip?
We often get a lot of viewers who will tweet us the screenshot of their living room or their basement or their cave where they've got whatever the late night is on one screen. Then they've got Cover 3 going on the other one. We are a great first screen or second screen, depending on your priorities. Yeah, have the audio on us, obviously. But then, yeah, give some love to our CBS Sports Network crew out there in San Diego as well.
I know you guys have like thousands of people, like literally, that are watching that live on Saturday night. But I want to promise to be one of the thousands of people in there, and maybe some of you early edgers can be in there as well with me. I will be in there because I'm going to be watching this, probably BYU too. But first of all, I think Boise State's been overrated this entire year. Personally, just from what I've watched, and I've also noticed in first halves they've gotten off. I haven't watched their last game or two, maybe, but they've gotten off to slow starts. So any thoughts on San Diego State first half as well? Or we're just taking the 2.5, obviously. But have you noticed that too, that Boise State started off slowly in a lot of games?
Well, I think that Boise State, Maddox Madsen's a pretty good quarterback. Defensively, they do have more talent than most Mountain West teams. But the way that, and like Maddox Madsen hasn't played great, and they were skewering him. A lot of the fans were like, oh, he stinks, get him out of here. He goes down with that injury early on against Fresno State. And then all of a sudden the offense like literally cannot achieve anything. So you've lost Ashton Genty. You've lost your best passer. It is an offense that I think is really, really going to struggle. Jaden Denegal is the name to know for San Diego State, the former Michigan quarterback who's been pretty successful there. San Diego State's got a rock solid defense. The only thing that would keep me from saying first half and leaning on the full game is the idea that Boise State's had the whole off week to work on the 15-play script for the backup to be able to come out. And also San Diego State, getting back in action after being all the way at Hawaii last weekend. Good call
on that. We got a few NBA questions now. Mikey B, I know you've got your NBA picks for later in the show, but Jay Long wants to know Nick Claxton under 21.5 points and rebounds. It's minus 130. Brooklyn at Orlando tonight at 7:00. Any thoughts there?
So, Jay Long, I have a strict no bets on the Nets policy, simply because they can go any way, any night. The reason why I came across this is I bet a Cam Thomas over early in the season. He played like 24 minutes. They were pulling him in and out of the game. Their rotations can be weird. I don't mind since you're taking an under here, but I have a strict no player props on the Nets policy.
Okay. Do you have no Banchero in that game too, right? So I mean, like maybe a little lighter down to the post.
Here's my thing. Jay Long, if you want to do a bet in this game,
cliffhanger.
We hit, I think it was the Wednesday show. We did that 10 plus for Shepard, 10 plus for Tari Eason because we thought it was going to be a blowout against the Wizards, and it was. So this could be a blowout against the Nets. So we want to target bench players on the Magic. So Anthony Black, 10-plus points. Tristan Da Silva, 10-plus points. I bet both of those. I think it was like plus 120 this morning. So if you wanted to do something in that game, if you're determined to watch Nets basketball, that would be what I would do.
All right. One more NBA question, then we'll get to some more questions later. Mikey B, is Josh Hart, this is from Jeff Stenberg, over 5.5 assists at plus 115. The best bet on the board today without Brunson in the lineup. Hart might drop more dimes than Michael J. Fox. I don't get this reference at a parking meter.
It's a wildly inappropriate Parkinson's reference.
Well, withdraw. Jeff, you can't
Jesus,
do that.
Jeff.
I honestly don't know what that means. I'm sorry I read it, but I'm also glad I qualified it with, I don't get the reference. Jeff, seriously, don't do that. Mikey B, your thoughts
wildly
on
offensive.
Wildly offensive. I mean, like if you're born in the 80s too, like it's one thing if you're born in the 90s and like maybe you didn't watch Back to the Future growing up and you just grew up on Spin City, Michael J. Fox. Wildly offensive to the Back to the Future crowd and people.
I'll bring it back to sports. I would take the over on that, but I will say this: the Knicks are much more equipped to handle Brunson being out because they have Jordan Clarkson now. So I don't think it's going to be 35 plus minutes for Josh Hart. I haven't seen Jordan Clarkson props come out yet, but that's something I'm watching for, over on his points.
Got it. Okay, look for Jordan Clarkson. Buckets, go ahead.
I have a live play real quick if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
So this is in the U21 UEFA European qualifiers. So we're going deep on this one. But right now, the Poland U21 squad is hosting the Italian U21 squad. Outside of Portugal, these are the two highest scoring teams in this entire competition. I found this on MGM.
Get them up to Serie A right now.
All of them. Take all the kids. Throw them up there. I found this on MGM. Bet on a first half goal right now. It's minus 130. You can greet it as always if you like. But two of the highest scoring teams right now, both teams have already missed big opportunities. Francesco Carmada for Italy, especially right now, is going to be pissed that he missed the opportunity that he had in the 5th minute. I just don't see either team sitting back here. It's a very open first 20 minutes in this match. And whoever wins this game most likely tops Group E. So first half goal and Poland versus Italy. I'll put it in the chat as well for everyone. See ya.
All right. We love the live plays, and we love the BetMGM's hat trick jackpot. Check this out. We've got an NHL. This is going to be the 3+ goals thing. With BetMGM's hat trick jackpot, you have the chance to win your share of $10,000 in bonus bets. Just place an anytime goal score wager, and if your guy scores 3+ goals during that game, you will win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets. And a reminder, we still have time to get into this Week 11 Pick'em contest. If you haven't gotten in, I don't know what you're doing. Will, you look extremely handsome in this picture.
Thank you. Yeah,
Will,
much more shoveled than my current state.
Are you signed up for this?
Yeah, I actually already put my picks in. I was worried I would forget.
Yeah, I was worried about that too. I put in a placeholder. I'll probably go back and correct them. But Week 11 is here, and we've got $1,000 in real cash up for grabs in our free Pick'em contest. There's no entry fee and real prizes and bragging rights, specifically bragging rights on the line. All you need to do is pick 13 NFL games against the spread for Week 11, but there's a twist. You'll designate one pick that's worth double points if you win it. The top prize is $250 in cash, and we're paying out the top 50 finishers, so you don't have to be perfect to win. Just head to splashsports.com/earlyedge to enter completely free. Again, splashsports.com/earlyedge to enter completely free. Let's get to a couple of sports line picks, and then we have so many more picks to get to, including a lot of NFL. Arizona -2.5 at UCLA -110. That one courtesy of Bruce Marshall. Then we've got Northwestern -5.5 at DePaul -110, also from Bruce Marshall. Danny Brasco's UFC 322 picks. We've got Mariscal moneyline +120. Let's see, Saint Denis money line -185, Ovelli money line +115, and Madalena money line +220. All right, more picks to come, ladies and gentlemen, right after this message from our partners.
What's he like? The happy-faced killer?
You mean my dad? Be glad you never have to know.
You think that you're so much better than me.
You're just like your old man.
I'm not like you.
All right, we're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Brinson, you're legendary for coming to this show with 5 picks. Can you give out the 3 that are the against the spread picks, which of course is the Rams, my Commanders, and the Vikings.
Well,
So
I
go with
I'm only putting look, I'm not being a sycophant here and trying to kowtow to the attorney in the room. I really do like the commies. The three against the spread picks I've got here. What's that?
Clip it.
Yeah. So I put up 5 total against the spread picks on my weekend betting guide story, which is on CBSSports.com. It's either up now or will be up shortly, along with some props that I've got here. But look, I'm going to tell you right now on Splash Sports, the easiest thing I had to do. By the way, Splash Sports app, awesome. Highly recommend using it. Love it for Survivor as well. The easiest thing to do for me was to click that little star on my best bet for my Los Angeles Rams -3 against the Seattle Seahawks. People call me a homer. People call me a Matthew Stafford honk. Yeah, I'm the first one to say he should be a Hall of Famer. I'm right now. He's going to be the MVP this year, I think. And he's really going to bolster his case this weekend against the Seattle Seahawks. Yes, everyone talks about Mike McDonald's defense. What they don't talk about is the 3 times that Sean McVay has played Mike McDonald's defense. His team, the Los Angeles Rams, have not scored less than 25 points against a Mike McDonald defense. Twice with Seattle, once with the Baltimore Ravens. Stafford against the Ravens in 2023, 294 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. They did lose the game in overtime, but Lamar Jackson, not Sam Darnold, was involved. Last year, Stafford 298, 2-1 in a 26-20 win. And then in week 18, Jimmy freaking Garoppolo goes for 334, 2-1 in a 25-30 loss with Rams backups playing across the board against a Seattle team that was playing for everything. Mike McDonald, great defensive coordinator, knows how to bring pressures. Sean McVay, incredible offensive mind. And the Rams are like mixing up a bunch of personnel, running 13 personnel a lot. That's going to help Stafford in the protection. Devontae Adams is going to be good to go for this one. And I think Stafford recognizes the blitzes. Let's Adams get deep, Puka Nacua work underneath, and the Rams win this one by 6 points or more. We can go to the Vikings. The Bears are frauds. The Bears are 6-3. What are the Bears 6-3 and winning the division? They have a negative 8-point differential. Their defense cannot stop anyone, and it definitely can't stop alpha wide receivers. This is setting up for a Justin Jefferson explosion game. And you know who else absolutely loves shredding the Bears? Former Packers player Aaron Jones. I believe he has 5 touchdowns in like 7 career games, or maybe it's like 10 touchdowns in 14 career games. He has a touchdown in every game against the Bears since he got to the Vikings. Ran for 190 yards against them in 2 games last year. Big game for him, big game for Jetta. And, of course, the Washington Commies. Ole, ole, ole. They are headed to Spain to play the Miami Dolphins. You want to talk about fraudulent? Mike McDaniel wins a power play against his GM, wins a couple, like 2 out of 3 games to climb out of the basement of the AFC East. And per Claudia on the Early Edge show on Wednesday, the Best Bet show on Wednesday, was driving up and down past the Elbow Room in Fort Lauderdale honking. Like, I mean, what are we doing here, Mike? Get a grip, pal. This team is good, but they're not great. Dan Quinn, great coach. And I think Marcus Mariota, big game against a bad defense. Commies run the ball effectively against a fraudulent Miami defense and come away with the international win on Sunday.
Yeah, I lived approximately a mile and a half from the Elbow Room for 17 years, and that place is.
Did you ever see Pete Prisco crawling out of there like on like Sunday morning? Like,
now that I think about it, I
reeking of Red Bull and vodka.
I might have. No, I'm kidding. Of course, buckets. What happened?
Can you change your Splash Sports entries after they've already been made?
Yes.
Because my star is on Bears plus 2.5, and I don't know if I should keep my star on Bears 2.5.
Caleb Williams. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to like hype up the other side when I'm giving out a pick, but I would say that Caleb has been good against the blitz this year. I think that game could be a little bit of a shootout. I just think the Bears. Sia referenced Justin Jefferson, or maybe before the show we were talking about it. Like this Bears defense has given up some big games to number 1 receivers, and it feels like a takeover spot for Jetta.
Yeah, Mikey B, before we get to your 2 NBA picks, this is such a good transition to my NFL prop. I already gave out my PGA prop. It starts in about 10 or 11 minutes. Of course, it's Paul Peterson over Joseph Bramlett and Austin Cook at plus 190, played down to plus 170. Justin Jefferson hasn't had a great season. It's mostly J.J. McCarthy's fault. He's one of the most inaccurate Caleb Williams pretty inaccurate too. But Jefferson's been getting targets, right? He's gotten 10 or 11 targets over the last, or even 12 at sometimes over the last 6 games. He's averaging 10 plus targets. We just can't get him the ball because JJ McCarthy's been really inaccurate. But good news for JJ McCarthy, you don't want to run on the Bears. You can run on the Bears, but you don't want to run on the Bears. You prefer to pass on them, and they give up extremely explosive plays. It's one of the worst pass defenses in the league. They also have a pretty bad pressure rate. So JJ McCarthy should have a little bit of extra time to stare down his number 1 target. I expect him and Jordan Addison to get a lot of targets. We're taking the over 71.5 receiving yards. Listen, Jefferson's not had a good season, but if you can't get right here at home in a controlled environment against the Bears, then you can't get right. This is the spot where we see Justin Jefferson get to 80, potentially 90 yards. I'm not saying to ladder it, but I am saying he's going to go over 71.5 receiving yards. And I do want to mention, if you didn't watch the show, I guess I gave it out Monday or Tuesday. I also like the Vikings, and Will's got a better number than me because I guess some money came in on the Bears. This thing is down to 2.5, which I said could be a possibility. I got it at -3 at -105. I absolutely love the Vikings this weekend, so I'm on track with Will Brinson. Let's get to some NBA, some hardwood. Mikey B, Mikal Bridges, Stephon Castle.
All right, first we're going to do Mikal Bridges over 17.5 points for the Knicks Heat game. Bridges has seen his usage rate go down from 19.6% last season to 15.5% this year. Why? Well, that's because Jalen Brunson has been shooting more. His usage rate is up nearly 3 percentage points compared to last season. Well, no Brunson tonight. He's out with an ankle injury, so I think Bridges is going to receive a lot of shot attempts. There was a 15-game stretch that Brunson missed last season, and during that span, Bridges averaged 20.5 points. Now, final stat we like for this over, the Heat have played at the fastest pace in the league. So fast pace, extra shots, over 17.5 points for Mikal Bridges. And then we're going to go to the Spurs-Warriors game. Stephon Castle over straight game with at least 10 assists. 6 times over the last 7 games, he got at least 8. He has the best lob partner in the league in Victor Wembanyama. Now, De'Aaron Fox, he's also healthy. He is only averaging 4.3 assists per game. He's looking to score more, so that's another great scoring option, and why I like Stephon Castle to go over 7.5 assists.
All right. We got 2 overs. One Mikal Bridges over 17.5 points, and Stephon Castle over 7.5 assists. We still got more picks to give out. Buckets, before we get back to Brinson's props, any soccer questions in the chat to answer?
There's a couple. Somebody asked about Netherlands on the spread, -1.5 at +185. It's something I would not take personally. Poland does play with a lot of national pride behind them. Lewandowski is in really good form. I do think they score. This wouldn't shock me if it sits at like a 2-1 final score, so I would stay off of that. And then there's questions about the German team. Will Germany play to win? How are they going to play against Luxembourg? On paper, it's a match where Germany can win 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 if they want to, but they don't need to. This is the kind of game where they probably go up 1-2 early and then rest a lot of big names. So I'd wait for lineups before I touch the Germany game. But if it's a good lineup, look for first half goals in this or in that one.
All right. Aaron Bailey says, Sia, some new guys in here. Would you explain the SportsLine membership and Discord for them? Looks like Jeffrey Chavez could be wanting to know some of that information. So yeah, if you want to join SportsLine, you're not already a member, you want to get access to all the picks, all the articles, DFS simulations, model picks, all of that. All you got to do is go to sportsline.com/join. Again, sportsline.com/join. If you type in the promo code winners, you get 60% off the annual plan. Now, what Aaron Bailey's referring to with respect to the Discord, of course, is if you're a SportsLine member, you get the SportsLine Discord for free. What is that? It's basically being able to talk to the experts and everybody that's in this chat, in a member of SportsLine. They're all in there. Okay. So we have different channels for different sports, NBA, MLB, obviously NFL, college football, UFC, PGA, channels for everything, and discussions for everything. So when you're watching an NBA game live or a college football live, you're going to get a lot of discussion, a lot of picks. RJ White in the NFL channel, he's always putting his picks out early and his analysis out early, along with guys like Jeff Hockman and so many others in the SportsLine universe. So if you're a SportsLine member, get into the SportsLine Discord. And again, if you want to be a SportsLine member, sportsline.com/join, type in the promo code winners. Let's get to more picks. Chip, before I get back to Will, anything college football related you saw in the chat?
Yeah, I think there was definitely an inkling to try to grab some Louisville early, like Louisville first quarter. Yeah, I saw that Louisville money line. I just, if you're doing that, then I would be taking the position of a Clemson fade there. I don't think that the cards have shown you enough to be able to justify some supreme confidence. I mean, Louisville first quarter, I guess you want to talk script. But again, that offense has just really, really struggled. And at minus a half a point, you got to score, Sia. You got to score to even cover a half a point on a first quarter spread. So I would not take that.
Let's get to some more NFL props. Will Brinson, you already gave out 3 picks. You got 2 more, and they're of the NFL prop variety.
Yeah, I just also slapped together a 330 to 1 NBA 2-man player prop parlay. If anybody's interested, it's a long shot, obviously, but I kind of like it. I'm a big Stephen Castle fan. Like, I watched him live. He's really, really good. He should have had a triple-double last game. Got into some foul trouble in the third quarter. Castle and Josh Hart each to have a triple-double tonight.
Wow.
330 to 1. And I didn't shop around. I just clicked it because I was like messing around. Look, put $1 on it.
330 to 1. Let's go.
But put $10 on it, and then you Venmo me at Brinson Will whenever that cashes tonight. Anyway, the NFL player props. You want one that's stat based or one that's narrative based first, Sia? Because I can do both.
I'd love to get the stat based one first, because at the end of the show, I love kind of leaning into narratives.
Okay, Oronde Gadsden, not Oronde Gadsden. Was that what show? Weren't we doing it in his name in a different accent on some show? Maybe that was, I don't know. I can't.
That was in your head.
Okay, yeah. No, I think Claudia was like doing it in like a Spanish accent. He is not.
His dad's an NFL player, so I hope you're pronouncing it right. So because that man had violence for a profession. So
yeah, no. Right. Former Syracuse wide receiver / tight end who has morphed into a dynamic tight end for the Los Angeles Chargers. His over on catches 3.5. I'm going to read you the last 5 games. And I'm going to combine the Rams players against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last 5 weeks of tight end stat lines against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, fraudulent defense, by the way. Travis Kelce, old ass Travis Kelce, 7 catches, 61 yards and a touchdown. AJ Barner, 3 catches, 71 yards. 3 Rams tight ends, because they love to mess around. Ferguson, Parkinson, and Higbee. 7 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. You may remember Brock Bowers, 12 catches, 127 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then Dalton Schultz carved them up for 753 and 1 last week. This team cannot defend the tight end position. Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. Herbert loves Gadsden. They are going to feed him. I like the yardage over. You can get it at 42.5. Love the catches over at 3.5 minus 125. If Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence show any life whatsoever, this is going way over. You could ladder it up to probably 7.
All right. So we got Gadsden over 3.5 catches. And here we're going down narrative street here. Jordan Love.
Yeah, Jordan Love over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Like 1.5 passing touchdowns for an MVP, preseason MVP caliber quarterback should normally be like minus 190. But because Jordan Love hasn't thrown a passing touchdown since before Halloween, which is just ridiculous. This number is minus 104. The media, the fans, everybody is all over Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love. They're wondering why Jordan Love sucks, why he can't throw passing touchdowns, why they lose to the Panthers, why they can't score against even the Eagles. This Packers offense is under fire. And man, you want a get right spot, the New York Giants secondary. Jordan Love, narrative street. Matt LaFleur is going to make it work for him. Even if you get down by the goal line, think they're going to throw some. And Jameis Winston's either going to make this a shootout or he's going to give him some really short fields with some interceptions. So I love Jordan Love over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
All right. Jordan Love over 1.5 passing touchdown. Thomas Mickles, Chip, St. Mary's versus North Texas. I don't know if you have any analysis here. He says over 129.5 tonight. Line has been falling. Any opinion here, Chip?
Yeah, I mean, you're taking an over in a St. Mary's game is always going to be dicey because of their pace. Sia, this is a basketball question, by the way.
Yeah, I figured that.
All right, I just wanted to at least direct you there. St. Mary's playing against other competent, what do we call mid-majors, not group of 5. St. Mary's playing against other competent mid-majors sometimes tries to really flex their muscles because honestly, it's so much better than the test that they're going to be getting most of the season in the West Coast Conference. I honestly, to this point, haven't really run the Chipalytics on North Texas yet to get a good feel for that. So I'm just saying, if they put North Texas in hell and just put like total fold them in a pretzel, then St. Mary's gets to choose it based on their offense. The line has been dropping because of what St. Mary's does to competent non-conference competition. I would rather take St. Mary's. But if you want to jump on North Texas, then You must have a better feel for the Mean Green than I do. I'm still stuck on Drew Mestemaker, the North Texas quarterback, before I'm ready to start going to the Mean Green's basketball team. Eric Morris as well, obviously North Texas head coach.
Mikey B. Katie Taylor says, I took Castle rebounds and assists earlier at 12.5 and minus 120. Do you like that, or do you just like the straight assist play?
I prefer the straight assists, but he could get 10 assists in this game and he'd go over that anyway. So I do prefer the straight assists, but I don't mind that over either.
All right. Buckets, any updates here on your live bet or on any soccer questions?
Both Poland and Italy have had a shot off the post, which doesn't do anything to help our bet besides hurt my feelings a little bit, but they're still both attacking. We should get at least 3 to 4 minutes of extra time, so might need to pray for some late game magic there. Besides that, no other bets or questions for me right now, Sia.
All right. I think that might do it. Will Brinson, anything that you caught in the chat or anything that has come up so far, the pendency of the show here?
No, I mean, I got an anytime touchdown parlay if you want me to give it out real quick.
I mean, you're here. I mean, I don't see why not. They don't have to take your bet. It's not an official play. Go ahead. What is it?
Right. All right. So here's what we're doing. This is 33 to 1 when you put them together. And when you put them together, there you go. My lucky number times 3. So there we go. Parlay. Look, it is national. No, it is NAR, a national alpha wide receiver week. And we are going to pick just dudes to score touchdowns, underpriced guys. So we're going to start with Jamar Chase against the Steelers defense. I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago, Jamar Chase had 23 targets against the Steelers. You think Joe Flacco might throw his way at all against this bad Pittsburgh defense that popped up on a blip to beat Indianapolis? I do. Jamar Chase is only minus 115 to score. That is a great price for him. Drake London, number 2. The Panthers humiliated the Falcons. They blanked them. Drake London has has topped 100 yards in 4 of his last 5, 58 targets in that stretch, 4 touchdowns in his last 2 games. He is the alpha for Michael Penix. They're at home on the turf. They want revenge against Carolina. Carolina just got smoked by Chris Olave. Justin Jefferson, we already discussed. It's Jeddah at home against a horrible Bears defense that gave up 89 to Darius Slayton, 230 to Higgins and Chase the week before. Olave, 98 and 2 scores the week before that. And even Zay Flowers in a blowout had like 70 yards or something like that. Devontae Adams, as I mentioned, the Seahawks defense, great. Matthew Stafford, good against the Seahawks defense. Devontae Adams leads the NFL in red zone targets. When they get down there, they won't be able to run with Kyron. They will throw to Devontae Adams. He is just minus 115. And finally, this is the one, look, this might ruin the parlay. Sunday night. I don't care. Grown-ass man, A.J. Brown, goes on Twitch and this is the ultimate squeaky wheel game, okay? He is making a stink, and he won't walk it back. The Eagles are going to throw. They're going to have to throw against the Lions because the Lions are going to be able to score. I think they come out early, target A.J. Brown often. He gets in the end zone. 5 alpha receivers, 5 touchdowns, 33 to 1. Let's go.
So I agree because it's also a good matchup for A.J. Brown, and I think they will have to throw. I think A.J. Brown, I noticed their props, Devontae Smith's props and A.J. Brown's props are in that mid-50s, high 50s range. I think they could both get there. So speaking of the prop show, a bit of a surprise. We've kind of been softly rolling this out, but if you're on SportsLine YouTube, you know there's a show prepped for 1 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, the prop show with me and Claudia and Uncle Dave and, of course, Prop Stars. It's back on YouTube. And the important thing about that is that the chat is back on YouTube. And that was like the big issue with that prop show. It was so chat integrated, and it wasn't when we went on the network. So everybody kind of got together and decided we need to bring this back to YouTube. So starting today at 1 o'clock on the SportsLine YouTube channel, the show that was on YouTube for so many years is back on YouTube. Join us at 1 o'clock today. It is going to be absolutely fantastic. And again, it's going to be all of our picks, but also very chat driven. Maybe Will Brinson will talk about some of the picks that you had on there because I liked a couple of your plays quite a bit. All right, we got to get to the recap screen. We've been here for so long. We had buckets. Anything else before we get to the recap? You look like you have something to say.
You know the law. Not yet. No, nothing yet. But I'll get back to that. Yep.
And by the way, before we get to the recap, so I do want to say, with respect to, I'm sorry I read that comment, that super offensive. Obviously, I didn't know what the comment was, but I need to remind everybody this. And anywhere else on YouTube, there's just no place for that. And again, if me or whoever knew what that was, then we wouldn't have read it. But again, no place for that. Let's make sure we never do that again in this forum. Let's get to the recap screen. Round 2 3-ball, Paul Peterson, plus 190 over Joseph Bramlett and Austin Cook. This one just started about 5 minutes ago, I believe. Justin Jefferson over 71.5 receiving yards, minus 114. And from Tuesday, Vikings -3 at minus 104. So I got the better juice, but I certainly didn't get the better number. I'd rather be on Will Brinson's pick of the 2.5. Gibraltar versus Montenegro, both teams to score plus 145. And Poland versus Netherlands, Netherlands over 1.5 team total, minus 130. Of course, those two from buckets. Mikal Bridges over 17.5 points, minus 105. And Stephon Castle over 7.5 assists at minus 111. Will Brinson, a 5-pack. Rams -3, minus 110. Commanders plus 2.5, minus 112. Vikings -2.5, minus 115. And Arondé Gadsden over 3.5 catches at minus 125. And Jordan Love over 1.5 touchdown passes at minus 104. Louisville team total under 26.5, minus 115. That one is tonight, and it's from Chip Patterson. BYU -3.5, minus 105. San Diego State -2.5 at minus 106. And if you missed the earlier part of the show, those last two picks, BYU and SDSU, they will be on Saturday night. And at 11:30, correct me if I'm wrong, Chip, is when the Cover 3 boys get on to talk about the whole day and what's just going on in the college football landscape. Join that show live while you're watching this game. The game's on mute. Chip and his team certainly gets the volume click there. Let's go to the SportsLine picks. And I know we had to change this. You didn't see this earlier in the show. This Wellmaker money line play, that fight got canceled. So Danny Brasco's UFC 322 picks, Mariscal money line plus 120, St. Denis money line minus 185, Veli money line plus 115, and Della Maddalena money line plus 220. A couple of college basketball picks, Arizona -2.5 at UCLA minus 110, and Northwestern -5.5 at DePaul minus 110. Both of those from Bruce Marshall. Christian Hastings says, good show, guys. Will Brinson, how'd we do? Did you have fun?
I had a blast. I did have one question.
Go.
Chip, is that headshot that they put on the screen current for you? Or is that... I'm kidding. No beard. It's like they used to tell someone to me no beard. No, great show. No, I mean 10 out of 10. No questions, no comments.
The crop that is floating is from the Nashville shoot. That's not from the Nashville shoot. There are more updated.
Yeah, I figured
in the system. Yeah. Which again, like you remember that Nashville weekend. I mean,
it was incredible.
The fact that that's instilled forever, it's like, oh God.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe my headshot looks good considering the Nashville weekend.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
The inside jokes that literally only 2 people get out of the 500 that are watching right now. I mean, I don't know that we need that. I did want to ask you.
I thought it was just implied that like Chip and I got hammered in Nashville.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that's fair. Chip, Chris Kish was asking earlier, the vinyl over your left shoulder. What is that?
So, when Stevie Wonder released Songs in the Key of Life, it was obviously like a double album, everything. But he also released something that's called A Little Something Extra. So it was a little 45, or excuse me, a little like 33 and a third. All Day Sucker, Easy Going Evening, Saturn, and Ebony Eyes. So it was like before you had like deluxe tracks, like there would just be an actual additional little bonus added onto the album, extra stuff that he had recorded during the Songs in the Key of Life session. And I don't keep my record player like loaded up for this size. And so I made it decorative.
Buckets, have you ever heard of Stevie Wonder?
Yes, I have.
I'm not believing that. All right.
What's the point of asking me if the answer's irrelevant, Sia?
Well, I'm trying to gauge the answer. I'm a poker player. All right. Let's see. We got to get out of here. This is probably the longest Friday show we've ever had. We had just so many picks to get through. It's not your fault. That's actually that was a lot of picks, a lot of analysis. We got some extra picks with your touchdown parlay and whatnot. What a crew. And thank you everybody for being in the chat, hitting the like button, being a part of this show. Tommy Unders, Aaron Bailey, Mr. Big. I mentioned Chris Kiss, Kirk Schroyer's in here. Again, everybody, thanks for being in here every single day, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock on the SportsLine YouTube channel. Stick around on this channel because at 1 o'clock, again, we're bringing that prop show back. Thank you, Chip Patterson. Thank you, Will Brinson. Thank you, Mikey B. Thank you, Ben, on the 1s and 2s and 6s and 7s. And fine. Thank you, Buckets. Thank you, Buckets. Buckets, close us out. That's the close.
You know the law. Subscribe.
Okay.
Yes, Sia. 6-7.